I'm willing to bet that even the biggest basketball fans don't know about some of the records we're going to talk about in today's video. This is part 2 of NBA records you didn't even know existed. Starting with the most points scored in the first quarter of a game. On November 23, 2016, Kevin Love dropped a record-breaking 34 points against the Portland Trail Blazers in just 12 minutes. While this is an extremely impressive accomplishment on its own, he was also sharing the court with Kyrie Irving and LeBron James at the time to make things even better. Love shot lights out, hitting 11 of his 14 shot attempts, including 8 3-pointers and 4 free throws. Now you would have thought that Love had at least, 45, 50 points at the end of this game? Nope. He finished with just 6 points for the rest of that night, leaving him with 40 total. Love only took 6 more shots, which is very surprising to me. If he was that hot, why not let him keep shooting? I'll tell you somebody who did keep shooting though. It was Tim Hardaway on December 27, 1991 against the Timberwolves. The only problem, he didn't make any of those shots. A brutal 0 for 17 from the field. Hardaway broke the record for most field goals attempted without a single make that night. Miraculously, they still won this game because the Timberwolves were absolutely terrible that year, and Chris Mullin basically put the entire Warriors roster on his back, scoring 36 points. It wasn't a complete donut though for Hardaway, as he did shoot a perfect 100% from the free throw line. 2 for 2, baby, ended the night with 2 points. Now, if you're Hardaway, you're going to take those 2 points and, go on to the next game, but this next player couldn't care less about points. He was only focused on distributing the basketball, and boy did he do it well. It's John Lucas Jr. who broke the record for most assists without a single point, with 24 in a game against the Denver Nuggets on April 15, 1984. This was the final game of the regular season, and Lucas was coming off the bench. Everybody was getting involved in the scoring except Lucas. He was the only player on either team that night without a point, but he did more than enough to help his team to a narrow victory of 157 to 154. Oh my, talk about a shootout. Next is a record that you 1000% did not know about. The only player to have back-to-back wedgies on consecutive plays, not when some school bully gives somebody a wedgie and hangs them by a locker. A wedgie in basketball is when you get the ball stuck between the rim and the backboard. Reggie Jackson, Reggie the Wedgie, did this on November 23, 2021 in a game against the Dallas Mavericks. Another random record is the most half-court attempts throughout the span of an entire career. That record is held by none other than Andre Miller, who made a total of 3 out of his 102 total attempts. Miller spent time playing for the Cavs, Clippers, Nuggets, 76ers, Blazers, Wizards, Kings, Timberwolves, and Spurs during his 17 years in the NBA. All those chucks from half court caused his three-point percentage to go from 32% all the way down to 26% by the time it was all said and done. I'll tell you somebody that didn't struggle with the three-point percentage that low though. It was Donyell Marshall, who currently holds the record for most threes made in one game from a bench player. Marshall finished that game with 12 three-pointers against the 76ers on March 13, 2005. Apart from those deep balls, he only made one more basket, giving him a total of 38 points on that night. All that scoring from him off the bench, paired with him getting 10 rebounds, played a huge part in them blowing out the 76ers by 28. Now I want to take a look at some buzzer beaters, because who doesn't love a good game winner? The only player to hit a buzzer beater on consecutive nights, that was DeMar DeRozan on December 31st, 2021 against the Pacers, and January 1st, 2022 against the Wizards. The three-point shot off one leg against Indiana was unreal, and then he followed that up with a double-teamed corner three to send Washington packing. DeRozan finished that game against the Wizards with 28 points. Now, if I could go back in time, the first thing I would probably do is take his higher than on points total on Underdog so I could get some quick cash. Today's video is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. If you want a chance to 20 times your money in one single night, then listen carefully. All you have to do is download the app on your phone or go on your desktop, find player projections that you like, and then select higher or lower. You can choose up to 5 selections per entry, and if they all hit, you're gonna win big. Also, if you use code SWEAT during signup, you're going to get a deposit match up to $100 from Underdog themselves. Underdog Fantasy is available in the majority of US states. Just check out this map to make sure that you qualify. Huge shout out to Underdog for sponsoring this video. Speaking of the Wizards, Gilbert Arenas holds the record for most buzzer beaters in one season, with 3 in the 2006 to 2007 season. The first was a tough layup to kill the Supersonics' chances, the second was a deep 3 against the Bucks, and the last was against the Jazz. Got his defender backpedaling and made him pay big time. Arenas actually holds another record though for most points in an overtime period during the regular season. On December 17, 2006, Gilbert scored 16 points against the Los Angeles Lakers. That was all a part of a 60-point masterclass that he put on, ultimately leading to a 147-141 victory. As for most points during a postseason overtime period, that belongs to none other than Steph Curry. He broke this record in a game against the Trailblazers on May 9, 2016 by scoring 17 points and leading the Warriors to a huge 132-125 win. If we keep on the topic of overtime, it leads us to another record held by Dale Ellis for most minutes played in a single game. Ellis played 69 minutes in a game against the Milwaukee Bucks on November 9th, 1989. This game went into an incredible 5 overtimes before Ellis and the Supersonics narrowly lost by just 1 point. He totaled 53 points that night, and also his teammate Xavier McDaniel finished with just 1 less minute played than him. Next up is a record held by Popeye Jones for most offensive rebounds in a game without a defensive rebound. He pulled this off on March 10th, 1994 against the Lakers. All right, you guys caught me. I kind of just wanted to throw that one in there because his name was Popeye. All right, moving on. It's Nikola Jokic who holds the record for the only player to have a triple-double with over 10-plus field goal attempts without missing a field goal or free throw. He achieved this on December 28, 2023 against the Grizzlies, where he scored 26 points, shooting 11 for 11 from the field, 3 for 3 from the free throw line, along with 14 rebounds and 10 assists. He was also super close to pulling this off yet again against the Wizards the other night, but fell just short because he was only 1 for 2 from the line. Now, this next one was really surprising to me. The only player to officially score a point for both teams in a single game. This record is held by Eric Money for the Nets and the 76ers in November 1978 and March 1979. What happened was that Money was playing for the Nets on the first night, but the game got out of hand with multiple ejections happening, including Bernard King and coach Kevin Lowry. After the game concluded, the Nets filed a protest which ultimately caused 2 refs involved to be suspended, and the last quarter and a half of the game needed to be played again. Due to busy schedules at the time, the teams would have to make up this game before their next matchup, causing it to be played on a completely different day. But before that game was made up, Money was traded to the Sixers, leading to him technically scoring for both teams during that same game. Another record that isn't nearly as weird as the last one, more so impressive to me, is the fewest field goals made by an NBA team in history post-shot clock era. It belongs to the Orlando Magic in a game against the Boston Celtics on January 23, 2012. Throughout the course of the entire game, the Magic only managed to get 16 shots to fall. They lost by a final score of 87-56 that night. And if you thought that was bad, 20 of their points also came from free throws, which means that only 36 of their total points came from actual field goals made. That's impressively bad. Also, shout out to the worst shooter of that night, Ryan Anderson, finished 0 for 8 from the field. All right, let's pick up the pace a little here and rattle a few off. Most techs in a single season belongs to Rasheed Wallace in the 2000-2001 season with 41. Most disqualifications in a row is held by Don Bovin during the 1951-52 season. He actually just fouled out in 6 straight games, but still, that's pretty impressive to do. Shortest NBA career belongs to Jamison Curry with a legendary 3.9-second run in the league. And the shortest amount of time before fouling out belongs to Bubba Wells against the Chicago Bulls on December 29, 1997. He lasted a whole 2 minutes and 43 seconds before leaving the game. The Mavericks' master plan that night was to have Wells keep fouling Dennis Rodman over and over and over because he was so bad at free throw shooting. It was just like Hack-a-Shaq, but with Rodman instead. Safe to say that didn't work out in the end though, as they still ended up losing that game. Some other impressive records are the most consecutive games with 1+ field goals made, which is held by Tim Duncan at an unbelievable 1,360 games in a row from October 31st, 1997 up until December 30th, 2015, which means Duncan made at least one field goal from his rookie debut all the way up until his last season in the league. Let's follow that up with the most 4-point plays in a career. James Harden currently holds this record with 95 4-point plays at the point when I'm recording this video, but I'm sure he's bound to add some to that total before his career is over. Harden is known for shooting a ton of threes, but damn, it's very impressive knowing that he's making that many while being fouled as well. Next up is the most seasons played throughout the course of an NBA career, which is held by Vince Carter at 22. He's the only player to play in 4 different decades: the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. Carter spent time playing for the Raptors, Nets, Magic, Suns, Mavs, Grizzlies, Kings, and Hawks during those 22 seasons. Another similar record is the most teams played for in a single season. Bobby Jones holds this record at 5 teams during the 2007 to 2008 season. He played for the Nuggets, Grizzlies, Rockets, Heat, and Spurs that year. And you know I had to end this video off by mentioning an embarrassing one. The most free throws missed in a game is held by Andre Drummond, who missed 23 against the Houston Rockets on January 20th, 2016. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video and want a part 3 to this series, just let me know in the comment section down below. Check out some of these other videos if you did enjoy.